Hey everyone, welcome into an at-home edition of Falcons Today. We are going to talk about Kyle Pitts potentially being moved. I know this is a topic that Falcons fans are kind of getting exhausted about, and hey, I hear you. Did not plan on talking about this today, but after the blockbuster trade that went down between the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers, there has been some chatter out there that the Dolphins could be looking for a new tight end. Our own Dolphins host at Chat Sports, Nick Roloff, tweeted this out, talking about Miami picking up the phone for Kyle Pitts. So I figured, you know what? We cannot just stick our head in the sand and go, don't happen, please don't trade Kyle Pitts, or I don't want to talk about this subject anymore. Gotta kind of wake up and face the music a little bit, right? It's nearly July 4th, and we're seeing major Pro Bowl, All-Pro caliber players get moved right now between the Steelers and the Dolphins. Kyle Pitts getting dealt is not out of the realm of possibilities. So we're going to talk about that on today's episode. I am filming from my parents' house. I'm back home for the 4th of July. And I don't know if you guys ever experience this when you go back to your parents' house, but it's always just kind of like chaotic. So there's a dog. My parents I don't even call it their dog. They watch it during the day, barks all the time, and so a lot of clocks chime. So sorry for kind of the background noise. I'm working with what I have here. But let's talk about Kyle Pitts potentially getting moved from Atlanta to Miami. Let's open up by answering a question that maybe some of you have, which is, hey, how likely is this, right? Before we go down this rabbit hole of what would a trade look like? Does it make sense for Atlanta? Let's just kind of jump to the important part. Is this going to happen? If I put money down, I'd probably say no. I did not expect to wake up this morning, though, and see Ramsey get traded to the Steelers and Minkah Fitzpatrick go back to the Dolphins, where he started his career off before he was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a first-round draft pick. So I don't want to say it's not going to happen, because we just learned today, never say never in this league. I don't think the Falcons are, at this stage, super duper motivated to trade Pitts. I think it would have to require getting an offer that they can't say no to. And I don't see the Dolphins making an offer that the Falcons can't say no to. But if you feel like the Miami Dolphins are a poorly run organization and their GM, Chris Greer, his brother is the manager of the San Jose Sharks, which is the craziest thing, NFL and NHL manager, the same bloodline. I always mix the two up, but if you think it's a poorly run team and they would give the Falcons an offer they can't say no to, then yeah, I could see Pitts getting dealt, and I do think it could have some possibility, some legs to it. But if it's for a fourth round draft pick, which this is what we talked about on Thursday's episode of last week, and that is if it's for a fourth round draft pick, which I'm just going to toss a fourth out there, it's kind of right in the middle of the draft. It's not really in Atlanta's best interest for a few reasons. One, that draft pick cannot help them this upcoming season. Whereas if that draft pick happened in early April, they could have used that fourth rounder on a player to utilize in 2025, right? To get a new tight end or something. But that draft pick is still in its egg right now. It's still in college football. So you're not getting anything to help your 2025 campaign out. Also, if you do get a fourth rounder for Kyle Pitts in a trade and you don't get anything of use for him this upcoming season, you could argue it's better for the team to hold on to Pitts, let him walk in free agency, get a compensatory draft pick out of him, and you still get Pitts' services for this upcoming season, and you still get some type of draft compensation. Now, that comp pick, who knows what it'll be? There's a mystery formula the NFL uses, and it's determined based on how much he was paid, the playing time with his next team. There's a lot of things that factor in. How much did you spend yourself in free agency? But if, let's say, they project to get a fifth round comp pick for Kyle Pitts in free agency, letting him walk, the Dolphins sign him in March, and the Falcons the next year in the draft, the 2027 NFL draft, get a fifth. Would you rather have Kyle Pitts' production for this year and a future fifth, or no Kyle Pitts and a fourth 1 year earlier? Like I said on Thursday, you can make good arguments for both sides. But I could see the Falcons' argument being, hey, we're kind of feeling like our backs are against the wall right now if you're Terry Fontenot, right? 4 straight losing seasons. Do we really want to trade away someone who could be a big asset to the development of our young quarterback that we stuck our necks out for and took in the first round top 10? Maybe that's not the best thing for Pitts. And we should do what's the best thing for Pitts. And maybe that's not the best thing for Penix, Maybe that's not the best thing for Penix, and we should do the best thing for Michael Penix. And gaining a 4th rounder is not worth the squeeze to potentially sour the development of Michael Penix. And to wrap up the video, I want to go through, if a trade were to happen, what would, if I were the GM, offer/demand? And B, would I do it? If I'm the Falcons, if I'm Terry Fontenot, if I'm the GM, and the Miami Dolphins call up and say, listen, we just traded away Jonnu Smith, but we're not punting on this year. We want a new tight end, and we want Kyle Pitts. We think Pitts and Tua would be a great tandem. I'm the GM for the Falcons. For me, it starts with, okay, the negotiations begin at a 3rd-round draft pick. The Falcons don't have a 1st next year, and they don't have a 5th. They traded their 1st to move up to get James Pierce, and they traded their 5th to move up and get Xavier Watts. So they're already fighting next year's draft with one hand tied behind their back, only having a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th for the top 5 rounds. Maybe I'm forgetting. Yeah, sounds about right. And a 3rd, I don't think is something we should look at as like that's going to move mountains type of compensation, but I'm not interested in a day 3 draft pick because you're not getting a player that can help you for this year. So if I'm the Falcons, I am asking for more than what Pitts is worth because I need to get something sweeter than his value to help make up for not getting any type of additional reinforcements for the upcoming season out of Kyle Pitts. If this trade would be discussed back in March or April, a 4th could make sense. You give away you offload Pitts' guaranteed salary to the Dolphins. But at this stage, you don't really need to worry too much about that since it's not like generating extra cap space is going to help you sign someone. All the good free agents already signed. So I want a 3rd. And I know that's probably not fair or reasonable, but I'm telling the Dolphins, I'm not looking to make a fair trade because it's probably not going to be a fair trade because you're going to have Pitts for this year and I'm going to have nothing for this year. So you have to overpay to convince me to do this. So Pitts for a 3rd. Probably not going to happen. You're not going to see, what tight end gets traded after 3 years with less than 1,000 yards and never going more than 4 touchdowns in a season for a 3rd-round draft pick? Never happened. But that's what I'm asking for. And if that actually were to be approved by the Dolphins, they go, all right, you won this negotiation, we'll do it. 3rd-round draft pick for Kyle Pitts. Shake hands. I'm doing it. I know that it's a little bit risky because it could, be a downer for Michael Penix's 2nd-year development, but I'm going to put enough faith in Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Ray McCloud to help boost up Penix and not be so, spineless that we just can't rock the boat whatsoever, even if it's what's best for the team long term. I'll take a 3rd-round draft pick for Kyle Pitts at this point. That's probably as good as an offer you're going to get in this hypothetical. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. We will be back with more from my parents' dining room. So hope you guys enjoy the decor over the next couple of days.